The Fantasy Six-Pack Hour. With your hosts, Joe Bond.
You're awful.
And AJ Applegarth.
It's Sin Shu Chu. It's a mouthful.
All right. Welcome to the Fantasy Six-Pack Hour. My name is Joe Bond, founder of FantasySixPack.net. With me, as usual, my co-host, AJ Applegarth. What is up, man? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Not much.
Just curious, what is that shirt you are wearing, or jacket, or whatever it is that you are wearing?
It's a rugby-ish shirt.
Okay.
It's got a Guinness on the back of it, which
Okay.
I got it in Cocoa Beach, Florida. At some
that's exactly where I thought I would pick up rugby
Ireland.
stuff, is Cocoa Beach, Florida, but sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't read upside down. Nolan's Irish Pub.
All right.
Yeah, I've had this since about the 2013, I believe. That's when we went on our cruise. So,
alrighty. So currently we are watching the Colts and the Jets, and started out okay with 7-7. Then Mike White got hit on the wrist on the touchdown throw to Elijah Moore, and has not been back in since. There was a note from Sleeper app that said Mike White put back on his helmet, but he's still not back in the game. So take that for what you will. Now we are stuck with Josh Johnson, and the Jets offense has done literally nothing since he has been on the field. So
also
no shocker there. But yeah, it's it is what it is. I think a lot of people expected the Colts to win this game. Although I will say this, they are in the red zone. They're on the 15-yard line, so maybe there's hope here, at least for a field goal. So, it's probably going to get ugly pretty quick here. I would expect, as we have seen already, Jonathan Taylor to get involved a lot here, and he has, although he's only scored one of the 3 touchdowns. Jack Doyle got one. My Cox owners hate that, and then of course, Nyheim Hines got the first one, a 35-yard run. So there you go. That's what we got so far. We're going to get you guys ready for week 9, talking about all the news that is going on. There's a lot of news right now, guys. So we're going to focus on all of that and break it down for what it means for your fantasy teams. And before we do that, though, I want to remind you guys to hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button, whatever you can do on your app or whatever it is that you're listening to us on. We appreciate the support, and hope you're enjoying listening to us. Let's bring in our guest of the week, and we're Ryan Kirksey. We've got on the show. He's a writer for Fantasy Six-Pack. Ryan, what's up, man? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, guys. How are you guys?
Good. So unfortunately, as everybody watching can tell, Ryan's having a little bit of technical difficulties with his camera, so unfortunately he will not be on camera with us, but we do get to hear his beautiful voice. So
you're not missing much, so it's okay.
It's all right, man. It happens. We're not gonna hold it against you, but so we're ready to jump into this. But before we do that, let's do our beer of the week.
Beer.
All right, man. You are the guest of honor. What you got for us this week, man?
I am drinking the first of the season, the St. Arnold Christmas Ale. St. Arnold, Texas craft brewery, fellow Rice Owl alum. Started it about 2 decades ago, so I'm opening up the first St. Arnold Christmas Ale of the season.
All right, good stuff, man. I like some Christmas ales. I can get into those. I kind of like them. A little spicy action going on.
Yeah, that's exactly why I like it. Quite a bit of spice in it.
Yeah. AJ, what you got?
Well, currently I'm
finishing something.
About to crack open.
All right.
Sweetwater Brewing Company's 420 Imperial IPA.
Nice.
It's a 9.1 percenter, 60 abuse. I'm about to
Abuse.
abuse my liver with it. So thank you.
Nice.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Still just as good as the other day.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
So I am opening up the last of the 3 that you brought over the other weekend. This one's an Elysian, which I'm a big fan of, so I'm hoping this one's good.
Ooh, that one
Full
is really
contact.
good. That one's really good.
Imperial Hazy IPA, which are basically the only 2 IPAs I drink, so now they're mixed together. I'm
welcome.
expecting good things from this one. So cheers.
Yeah. The one that I was drinking before that I just finished is the
That
Elysian.
is solid. I can
Space
give that a 4. Oh, Space Dust I'm a huge fan of. I'll give this one a 4. I like this one a lot, man.
Yeah.
I like this one a lot.
Real good.
So all right, AJ. You got something to say?
I do.
Yeah.
So as you can see, I've got a lot of gray up here. It's getting pretty bushy, but you know where it's not bushy? My downstairs. And why is that? Because of Manscaped. Our show, again, supported by Manscaped, our friends over there. And it's November, people. We're about a month away from most people in the world's favorite holiday of Christmas. There's going to be a shortage in gifts, but what you want to get here is Manscaped. You got to get on the boat now. Make the downstairs shorter for your man piece. Okay? You got
This
the
is the real deal,
Performance
folks.
Package. Performance Package 4.0. You can get the peak hygiene plan with that. All right? This kit includes the Lawnmower 4.0, which Joseph was just signaling to here. All right.
Joseph,
You
who are
get
you, my mom?
the Weed Whacker. That's the ear and nose hair trimmer. For those of you who are unaware of what the Weed Whacker's for, you get the Crop Preserver. All right. This is the anti-chafing ball deodorant. This stuff smells like angels came down to earth and played a game of football, but then didn't sweat. It's amazing. You would think that something you're going to put on your balls as a deodorant is maybe iffy. No, this stuff is phenomenal. I don't know how they did it at Manscaped, but I want to sit in on the next little powwow of this stuff. You get the Crop Reviver. All right, that's the ball spray toner, and of course you get your Magic Hat disposable shaving mats, which I have back here as well. All right. Yeah, I mean, the free gifts that come with this package, you're getting the Shed travel bag and you're getting the Manscaped boxers. All right. All of this stuff is phenomenal. It's a great value. You guys should be going out purchasing this now.
I might have those boxers on right
friends.
now. They're awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
They are they are comfortable.
They are
I
very
will give them
comfortable.
that. So yeah,
absolutely.
it's November. Like I said, guys, gifting season is upon us. Manscaped. Do it. Manscaped.com. We've got our promo code here as well. F6P20. Get 20% off and free shipping.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're already slashing prices down for gifting season as it is. So this is the time to jump on this stuff.
100%, guys. Yeah, get on that. It's worth it, man. I love this thing here, and yeah, everything else AJ said, right on board with that. So without further ado, let's jump into our topics. Ryan, you ready for this, man?
I'm ready. I am ready for Week 8 recap and move on to Week 9.
Yeah, man. So a little bit of Week 8 recap. We don't usually do a ton of that, but we kind of had to give a little bit of credit to all of the studly backup quarterbacks that just had a day, man. Mike White led the way, and of course, I just mentioned his name earlier, and unfortunately, he is still out of this game. Hopefully, he can come back in, but we don't know. But I mean, what else can you ask for this kid in his first NFL start, playing against Cincy, which has been fairly decent against, against defenses this year, but he 405 yards, 3 touchdowns. Yeah, the 2 picks, they were early. But I mean, this guy, he was just incredible. He even caught a 2-point conversion just to put a cherry on top. I mean, Is there any, Ryan? Is there any like thought that goes through your mind that like, I mean, maybe he takes over and they don't actually go back to Wilson when he's healthy, if Mike White is healthy and plays this way? I mean, he started off this game fairly decent already until he got hurt.
If I'm Michael Carter, I'm hoping that
No
Mike White
kidding.
stays the starter. 14 targets in last week's game. He had 14 total targets in weeks 1 through 5. This guy,
Right.
was on a tear with the checkdowns. And then I also see somebody cashed a ticket, 125 to 1 ticket of Mike White would lead the league in passing yards this past week. That's
pretty incredible.
That's a bet right there. But I just don't know that there can be a quarterback controversy when you had the number 2 overall pick. But Mike Carter might not publicly say it, but I bet he's hoping to get some of that to continue coming his way.
Yeah. And then the other quarterback who, I mean, look, he's had some playing time, but he is the backup there, Seattle quarterback Geno Smith. Not statistically a good game, but, 195 yards, 2 touchdowns. Didn't turn the ball over. That was a big thing for him. He's just been atrocious with the turnovers. Led this team to a 31-7 victory over the Jags. I don't think there's really much else to say there except the fact that, like, it just wasn't horrible. And Lockett and Metcalf were actually, like, usable in fantasy off of, instead of, like, one big play like Metcalf had in, week 7 where it was like, oh, cool, we caught it like a 75-yard bomb, then didn't touch the ball again. And Lockett got, like, 3 targets. I mean, Lockett balled out with 12 receptions for 142 yards. So it's like, okay, like if you can keep doing that, then we're not going to completely hate you, Geno Smith. The other guy here, one of the others is Trevor Siemian came in for the injured Jameis Winston here. And, look, as soon as it happened, you were going like, all right, well, I guess Tampa Bay is going to take this game, even though they had, New Orleans had this lead, right? But no, they, Trevor Siemian was able to play fairly well, 159 yards at a touchdown, and it wasn't like gaudy statistics, but he was able to keep Tampa Bay away here and get it done. Do you think there's any chance that Trevor Siemian keeps the starting role if Taysom Hill clears the concussion protocol?
I don't think so. I think that Sean Payton has a man crush on Taysom Hill, so he's going to go to Hill no matter what. I think that this is an offense that's going to revolve around Hill, Kamara, sprinkling a little Ingram, and that's about all you're going to get for the next several weeks. But I don't see any way that they could go away from Hill unless he just completely falls on his face.
I agree, AJ. Any other thoughts about that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little hesitant on Hill because as a starter, for a full role, he's been super inconsistent. But I mean, you have to go with him over Simeon. I feel like Simeon is our generation's Fitzpatrick, if you will. He's just going to move from team to team.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm talking maybe that, but
he's not going to be as good as the Beard. No one will be. He's a phenomenal man, phenomenal beard. I'd like to see. This might sound a little off, but I wouldn't mind seeing what his manscaped area is like. It would be interesting.
That's going a little too far, man.
Is it? Is it though?
Yeah, it might be. It might be.
So Taysom Hill, not. I'm not all over him yet. He went for huge money in my league in Scott Fish. I guess people that just didn't spend money finally realized, oh yeah, we have money to spend, and they dumped it on him. I don't remember the number off the top of my head, but I want to say it was like easily over 50. It's like, wow, okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in a super flex, you gotta grab him.
Yeah,
in those 4 games last year. I don't know necessarily, besides what he did with his legs, that he showed enough that he's going to be capable of being a fantasy QB1 every week. But he's got the upside with the rushing.
Yeah, what weeks did he start? Yeah. He started what? I'm looking at it now, 11 through 14, it looks like. So I'm going back to the scoring leaders, and I want to say he was a QB1 those weeks.
I think
on
he was
average.
a QB1 those weeks, except for the week Denver had to start the practice squad wide receiver at quarterback, and he didn't have to do anything.
Yeah, Taysom Hill was QB6 between weeks 11 and 14 last week when he started. Yeah. So I'm all about it. And by the way, guess who drafted Taysom Hill and Scott Fish? This guy. So now I'm having Brady on bye. I no longer have to only start one quarterback on my Superflex roster and Scott Fish this week. So yeah, loving that. It finally worked out. I've just been praying that I could have a third starting quarterback on this team, and Taysom Hill was the guy. And yeah, sorry to Winston, but I'm reaping the benefits, hopefully. So, no, I mean, I think I actually agree with Ryan here. I think it's gonna be Taysom Hill, and I mean, look, team-wise, I don't think there's anybody on this receiving core that you really care about. You didn't really care about any of these guys, even with Winston there, honestly. Michael Thomas looks like he's not coming back anytime soon. So, it's going to be all Hill and Kamara, and, this is what this offense is going to be, honestly. That's all it's going to be. Taysom Hill cannot really throw the ball that well. Last guy here, Cooper Rush, surprised everybody. And in beating the Minnesota Vikings on the road, threw for 325 yards, 2 touchdowns, including the game winner with just seconds left. I threw a pick, but look, led the team down for a comeback victory. There's no quarterback controversy here, but you gotta pat this guy on the back here and to say, this was a phenomenal game. Actually made Cooper and Lamb viable for fantasy, which I knocked him down a peg in the rankings just because you didn't know what Cooper Rush was gonna be, and which I hadn't because I got slaughtered in the rankings last week. But it's almost like you get slaughtered in the rankings because of those guys that don't update their rankings on Sundays, and because that's when Dak was ruled out, and whatever. So yeah, man. So yeah, I mean, kudos to these backup quarterbacks. I like I said, I think the only one you really even gotta kind of question is the Mike White, if he can come back and continue to play well. I think they for real have a question on their hands because Wilson has not been good. So the biggest news, obviously, though, is the Derrick Henry injury. Likely out for, I would say, at least the fantasy season. I guess there's a small chance he could come back for the playoffs if Tennessee makes it. But this is a brutal blow to obviously the Titans and then any fantasy managers that rostered him. Ryan, where if you have Henry, or if you want to just pretend, and if you had Henry, where would you have gone with your fab or free agency pick here? Would it have been McNichols, or would it have been Adrian Peterson who they picked up?
I did try to get both this week. I was successful on grabbing McNichols in a couple of places. I just saw Peterson, whether it's in home leagues or FFPC or other places, just go for astronomical amounts, things that I wasn't comfortable spending. But frankly, I'm happy to get McNichols, knowing that he's going to get just a healthy share of targets in that offense. I just don't know what we can expect out of a 36-year-old Adrian Peterson at this point. He is. I'm sure they're going to try to run him as much as possible, but for the value of the fab and then the value within the framework of the offense, I think I'd prefer to have McNichols on my roster.
Yeah, AJ, what's your thoughts there? Where would you have wanted to go with this? Because it is a hot debate. There's people that like McNichols. There's people that just say, no, it's going to be AP. That's why they brought him in. I was kind of 50-50 on it. I had my lean, but I want to see where you wanted to go with it.
I am a big AP fan. I'm one of the diehards that doesn't think that this guy will ever, go away from football. He's kind of like Frank Gore, but better. Maybe, I don't know. They're very similar, except in age. But I mean, he's a machine, and he's shown it time and time again. After missing seasons, missing, because of injury. He just comes back and he performs. Is he at the same level that he was in his younger years? No, obviously not.
Nobody's even close to saying that.
Nobody's going to be like that. I mean, especially running back wise. I mean, as soon as you hit 30, you're basically, 70 in real life years. So
it's like dog years.
Yeah, basically. But I would have gone McNichols here. And I actually, in the leagues that I owned Henry, I was looking at McNichols as a potential handcuff. I was looking at him in Scott Fish when I don't own Henry because I just wanted running back depth, and I just didn't pick him up. It's like, I'll let him slide. Because it's Derrick Henry. I mean, all we've preached about with Henry for so long is how durable he is.
Absolutely.
So maybe I said something about how durable he is, and now he's injured. I don't know. That would make sense.
It's your AJ jinx.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you, man. I'm with you, man.
But I think McNichols would be the play here. I mean, AP's not even going to play for at least a few weeks. I
think they get him in there faster than a few weeks, but he may not play this.
Yeah, but
week.
Even if they do, he's not going to be up to speed. He's going to have to, learn the playbook and do all that, unless they just tailor certain plays to his, abilities and strong suits, plays he might know, but, or give him a revised, abridged version of the playbook to learn so he can get in there earlier. But I still think.
I mean, and that's what you can do with running backs. Is like, here, go run a sweep. Here, go run a counter. Here, go run up the middle. I mean, running backs we've seen it time and time again. Like, they can adjust to it a lot faster than, like, say, a receiver would, or especially a quarterback. But yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm more on the McNichols train. I mean, look, this guy is 5. I mean, like 5'9", he's small, but he's 205. I mean, he's a big back, and he was productive in college his last 2 years, 1,300 yards and 1,700 yards with Boise. And like, I get it, the level of competition against Boise isn't elite across the board. It's better than it's okay, but the Mountain West Conference.
Yeah, their main slate of games isn't always tough, but they do go out and they do go play some teams, some tough teams. They do out of conference.
Yeah, no doubt there. I will say this. I mean, look, the one game, earlier this year that Henry missed, McNichols didn't see a lot of carries.
Yeah,
but the dude saw 12 targets. So even if AP takes the bulk of the carries, if they're gonna feed him, look, they're probably not gonna feed him 12 targets, but if they're gonna feed him the ball in that manner, like. Yeah, especially PPR or even half PPR formats, you want McNichols. I don't think AP is going to be this guy that everybody's gonna be like, oh man, now he's automatic RB2 territory. No, I just don't believe that. Now I will say this:
he'll have some flex appeal, but
yeah, I will say this, and I didn't get. Did I get? I might have gotten McNichols in one league out of like 10 that I'm in or whatever it is, but I didn't get AP in any of them, mainly because I went after McNichols first. But I also didn't get AP in a few because of that like loophole rule where because AP was a free agent, he wasn't on a team, he didn't lock on Sunday. And so people went out like Monday morning or Sunday night and just snatched up AP and dropped somebody who was playing on Monday or was on bye, and in the ESPN and Yahoo leagues and things like that, where like that's allowed. I thought on our sleeper league I locked all players who played, but I guess because we're in bye weeks, like bye
week players.
Right, I thought I locked all of your roster. So there are some leagues where like if you don't start the player, you can cut them.
Yeah.
and pick up somebody else. But in our
No,
league, I think I locked that because I just don't like that. Like I don't like having transactions when nobody's really paying attention to transactions. This one just kind of like snuck in the back door because
it's like no waivers almost.
Well, yeah, it is no
and
waivers.
I used to be a huge proponent of no waivers, but
Yeah.
I've decided to change on that. But yeah, the last thing I'll say here is, Peterson did happen in my fishbowl league. He got picked up, and the guy dropped Harrison Butker. So I picked up Butker for free after waivers passed. I was like, why not?
That was smart.
That's not bad.
McNichols went for 47, and I will correct myself. Taysom actually went for 45, not over 50. But I knew there was a 5 in there somewhere. So
Fiver.
There we go.
So the next injury here, obviously, Winston done for the year. I think we hit a bunch on the Taysom Hill talk earlier, so we'll pass a little bit on this one. Von Miller trade. I will talk a little defense here. Von Miller being traded to the Los Angeles Rams. I mean, just look, we don't have to spend a lot of time on this, but just holy crap, how good is this Rams defense going to be? This is insane. This front four now for the Rams, and then so the rest of this defense is just spectacular. Ryan, like they're almost like an automatic start no matter who they're playing now at this point in fantasy, right?
Have to be.
Yeah, I mean, so the Rams is promptly after the trade tweeted out the a gif of Teddy KGB saying that they're all in, and then got roasted, of course, because Teddy KGB lost that match that they gifted him on. So it's ridiculous, and frankly, I mean, the rich get richer in this situation. If you're the Broncos, though, in that situation, you have to do it considering the draft capital they got back.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something where it was a no-brainer, I think, for both sides. I mean, it just adds another elite level of pass rush and rush defense to a team that was probably already a legitimate Super Bowl winning caliber defense. This is just, I think, to me, pushes that defense over the top, and that they, considering the issues the Bucs have had in the passing game, this just pushes the Rams over the top for me in terms of coming out of the NFC.
Yeah. I totally agree. I actually snuck and got the Rams in a few leagues, so I'm definitely happy there. So I don't know. I mean, this is just going to be crazy. Him and Aaron Donald are just going to feast on quarterbacks. Like, I feel bad for anybody that they have to play moving forward. So, AJ, you got any final words on this one, or just want to move on to the next?
No, let's hit up the next one here. So we're looking at Calvin Ridley being out indefinitely right now, and kudos to him because.
Yeah, man.
This is something that we've touched on a little bit here and there, but he's out because of wanting to work on himself, wanting to, deal with his mental health, and I applaud him for this. And Lane Johnson is another one who is right there with him. He's been out for weeks, just dealing with things, and I mean these last 2 years have really effed some people up. It's nothing that we've ever seen in our lifetime, in multiple generations. I don't know if we'll see it again for however many years. Hopefully not anytime soon again, but it wears on you. It's just the all around change of your everyday, what you're used to, going out, seeing people, just going to the grocery store,
right,
is hell.
Agreed.
It's maddening, and I don't fault him one bit. I applaud him for this, and Johnson and anyone else who is doing the same thing. And it kind of goes into a little bit of what we saw last year with the players. Damian Williams comes to mind, who took the year off because of COVID and not wanting to get it, or having health related reasons for it, or family members with health related reasons. So it's a little more the same, but in a different context now. I think we saw that last year, and now that it's still dragging into this year, it's at like another level, and it's just wearing on everybody. So, Calvin, we wish you the best. Fight the good fight, man. Do what you need to do. Your health, mentally, physically, emotionally, is more important and bigger than the game of football. I don't care what the hell anybody else says. That's the way I look at it. And, I hope he gets right and can make it back at some point. And I think he can. But, this is it's a touchy subject,
Yeah, so obviously, I agree with everything you're saying. He needs to go take care of himself and do it. Kudos to him to recognize that. It sucks, obviously, for the Falcons and for fantasy managers. Ryan, what is your thought process here with Matt Ryan and Kyle Pitts and maybe Russell Gage and just the rest of this Falcons offense? Like, we've seen them a couple weeks already this year without Ridley, and it wasn't terrible. But like, is it sustainable moving forward? And like, is there anybody you can really trust on this offense?
Yeah, I think that's the main question, is who can you trust? And I just was looking at some of the information we had from the last game with Ridley out. You've got Pitts playing 83% of the snaps, but then you've got a whole host of 5 or 6 guys sort of hovering between 60 and 67%, getting between 0 and 4 targets. It's between, unless you're talking about Pitts or Patterson, it really is a mess right now on the rest of the Falcons offense. Sharp and Gage, I mean, they're just guys. Zacchaeus with Ridley out played less than 40% of snaps. I just don't know who else you can trust in this offense unless it's those two. And so if you believe that, then you have to, in many ways, downgrade Matt Ryan. I mean, Ridley was such a difference maker, whether with or without Julio Jones. It just, I think his absence creates just sort of a cascading effect where the entire offense is just gonna suffer. They're gonna play a lot of 2 tight end set with Pitts and Hurst, and they're gonna see what they've got with Sharp and Gage. But if it's not Pitts or Patterson, I just don't know if I can trust any of the other guys at this point.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think Mike Davis might see a little bit more passing work. That might be the only upside to this as far as fantasy goes, because people are still just like suffering with Mike Davis, as he drafted him early. All over the place. So it stinks. Again, hopefully Ridley can get himself right and he comes back sooner rather than later. But I think most of us will understand that he just needs to take his time. So move on here to some other sad news in a different way. Henry Ruggs. We all probably all know the news by now. DUI, accident, death was part of the accident. He just terrible decision making on Ruggs' part. He's, in my opinion, he's likely headed to jail and should be, because it was terrible, like 156 miles an hour, something crazy like that, like just absolutely out of control. The Raiders have now cut him, so. AJ, what's your thoughts on this wide receiving core moving forward now without Henry Ruggs, who was starting to show life this season?
He was, and it was something we touched on earlier with our previews, our preview of the AFC West. Last year he dealt with a lot of injury issues, being a rookie, being the first rookie receiver drafted, and now he's got this huge cloud over him, and for the rest of his life, and rightfully so. It was a stupid move. look, I drive fast and I take chances. I don't drive that fast and take that chance.
A lot of people drive 150 miles an hour.
Drunk. If you're blowing 2 times the legal limit in general, you should at least have enough brain cells left to realize that you have to go the speed limit.
Or just take an Uber.
Or call
there
fucking
you
Uber.
go.
How much money do you have?
I know.
How much money did you get in your rookie contract?
These NFL teams all
literally pissed away.
Free ride service for these players.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
They
Ryan.
should.
No, they do. They have a ride service for these players, but they don't want to use it.
Well, that's not, the players should take advantage of it, and they don't.
No, it's dumb. I mean, we see the time. It
it makes
unfortunate.
no goddamn sense. It's an ego and it's a control thing, and he's a young dude, talented guy,
man.
But this is what happens. This is what happens when you get bigger than you should be. Don't take anything for granted. What you do, what you earn, what you have. Live life. And don't take it away because of stupidity. So, he deserves everything that's coming to him and then some. Yeah. Send him straight to federal pound me in the ass prison, and bye contract. You can go hang out with your boy John Gruden. He might call you some names. I don't know, but I mean it's just another black eye for the silver and black. And it's like, this was supposed to be a good season for them. They're coming in the new town, the new stadium, and all of this stuff. Huge win, but whatever. I just I think.
Do you have any thoughts as to? We could sit here
as
and
to
harp
who's
all
going to
day.
be. Yeah, sorry.
Like I
I go on tangents. I know. I mean, once Darren Waller's healthy again, which hopefully he will. Well,
obviously Waller is going to be.
He's going to get targets. We already know that. But Brian Edwards, I think Brian Edwards is going to be coming in and taking a lot of those targets. I mean, they may shift over to more of a 2 tight end set, to help bring Waller back along. Until he is 100%.
Foster Moreau's been pretty money,
very
man.
good, man.
When Waller's out, Moreau's a guy who you should 100% target in DFS.
Exactly. So, yes.
I
fast forward through my whole digression there, unless you care to listen. But yeah, Edwards has to be the main benefactor. I mean, on a Renfro.
I think he's going to get an uptick guy. He's got his role, though. I think his role won't change.
Yeah, I don't think.
Ryan, is there any thought maybe that Zay Jones is now going to start? Is there any hope that Zay Jones now sort of becomes usable?
Ooh, I don't know if I want to live in a world where Zay Jones is usable. That guy.
Yeah, I'm
talk about driving fast and taking chances.
Wow,
that is. Pedal to the metal.
I just think don't sleep on what might Kenyon Drake get here going forward. I mean, obviously he's not a deep threat, but
I was going to say that too.
I think it's a 4-man passing game now. Waller, Edwards, Renfro, Drake. I think those are the guys who are going to catch 85% of the targets. They're going to try to pound Jacobs as much as they can, but you can't. I mean, they could try to go out and get a Deshaun Jackson or somebody, but that guy just, somebody like Ruggs, you just can't replace the speed. You're gonna have to replace it in other parts of the field.
Yeah, I agree. I think Edwards is clearly the guy that we're all sort of excited to see what he can do now that he's going to have more of a chance. Moving on here, next guy, Aaron Rodgers is out with COVID after kind of dodging the question in the offseason as to whether or not he was vaccinated. I guess we all figured it out. Yeah, I guess we all figured it out pretty quickly. Good job, Aaron. Obviously, the question
double check didn't help you there.
Yeah, I guess Ryan, obviously the question here is, what can this offense be with Jordan Love there? Is Aaron Jones still usable? They could just hand him the ball 40 times, it feels like. Is Devontae Adams going to be still a receiver that you're just automatic plug and play, knowing he's probably going to get all the targets still?
Yeah.
But it's not Aaron Rodgers, so it's tough, man, because we literally know nothing about what Jordan Love really can do.
Yeah. And, I write one of the dynasty pieces for Fantasy Six Packs. And so for dynasty owners, hey, we're excited for Jordan Love season.
Just want to see what he is.
Finally. Let's see what we got here. I mean, you forget, this was a first-round draft pick that they took 2 years ago, who didn't see any time on the field last year. I expect in this first game, you're going to see Jones and Dillon all over the field. They're just not in his first game going to drop Love back 40 or 45 times. I think that will come in time. Again, we're talking about a quarterback out of Utah State who had some decent level of competition, didn't really excel in his third year in college. In terms of the passing game, yeah, you're going to play Devontae because it's Devontae, but on the rest, I think Love's going to have to prove it to me before we consider him an every week starter. Is he a streamer? Is he a super flex? Is he a cheap DFS guy right now? Yes, but I'm not counting on him these first few weeks to be a top 10 fantasy quarterback.
Yeah, spoiler alert, I did not put him in my I did not put him in my value list. Even though he's only 4,400. Yeah. You got money. You can spend that money wisely elsewhere. I'm not trusting.
You get no points for handoffs.
Yeah. So I'm kind of out on this offense to be honest with you this week. AJ, look, if you've got Adams and you got Jones and maybe even if you have Dillon, as a flex option, I think you probably are still having to start these guys just because you probably don't have much better options, and they are, especially Jones and Adams, they're still elite enough that I think you have to at least trust them to return, maybe 2/3 of what they could normally give you. I guess that's the hope. AJ?
Yeah. Maybe. Maybe.
I know. Really, that is kind of the reaction.
In this scenario, 2/3 equals, 4/16.
4/16.
Yeah, I know that's actually rounded down to a quarter, but again, the point is made that it equals 4/16 because you have no idea what you're getting from Love. This was my complete dart throw in Scott Fish, and guess what? He was also probably my first drop as soon as Rodgers was like, yeah, I'm going to play. And then, he went out and I don't know what him and Devontae were doing in the week off that Devontae had, but
yeah.
Working on plays, I guess. I don't know.
Don't hang out with the COVID guys, Aaron. Jeez.
Yeah. At least go out and make another Allstate commercial, or whatever it is. State Farm.
Man,
that was close. I had one word. You can't.
Yeah, their dream matchup.
Can't spell
versus Rodgers.
farm without the A from all. So suck it.
Okay, keep telling yourself that.
You literally can't spell farm without an A. Jesus, man, come on.
Just make yourself feel better. That's cool.
You don't understand slapstick.
Anyway, I think we can move on here and finish up the last news piece here, and it is Mr. Odell Beckham. If you didn't already suck at football for some reason, again, it is now you are basically being told by the Browns to not come back because you're being a jerk again or something. We don't really know what the hell is going on here.
You got to watch.
I've seen a lot of good jokes on Twitter, and one of them somebody made up a fake quote from Odell, and it was like Odell was told to leave because he came in just being like, I know Baker lives in the stadium. I just can't find where he lives and where he sleeps, but I know he lives here. I've seen the commercials, and I laughed so damn hard.
Why can't I get commercials?
Yeah, it's
Buy
funny,
a stadium
man.
and move in.
Yeah, it's
And
really
you will.
funny. I saw that. I just cracked up pretty hard on that one. I mean, Ryan, what's your take here, man? Like, I mean, at this point, man, like I'm almost ready just to cut bait with OBJ. Like, I'm just done with him. I've been very, very close to that for a while, and now I think it's just done.
Yeah, I mean, okay. First of all, at some point, I mean, this is a grown-ass man. You don't have your dad putting out videos of Baker overthrowing you or underthrowing you. Okay, you can do these things yourself and take responsibility for your actions. But unfortunately, he just has been so disappointing for so long. It's there's not much more you can do if the Browns cut him, unless he just finds the nuts team that is going to put him out there for every snap. I don't know what evidence do we have from the
Raiders
past 4 years? Oh, well, there you go.
Yikes! Yikes!
Looks like a Raiders kind of guy.
I have just made sense of multiple things that we've talked about.
I
Yeah,
am
what-
Derrick
what
Carr and
one?
Scott Fishbowl. Don't put that evil on me.
What a show that would be.
Already happened. Already happened.
Stop it, AJ. Jeez. Now I'm gonna have to start Brady and Taysom Hill the rest of the year. I guess I wouldn't be so bad. I might do that anyway.
No, he's done with the Browns one way or the other. I mean, you got Chris Harris and Darius Slay out on Twitter today, going back and forth on taking OBJ's side, and Baker can't hit him, and so who knows what's going on there. It's just a huge mess, and it's something that fantasy managers don't need to deal with, I don't think.
Yeah, man, I'm pretty much done with OBJ. Like I said, AJ, I think it is time to just move on here to our injuries. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, man. So we'll start here, Ryan, with some injuries for quarterbacks. And so what we're going to do here, we're going to kind of rip through all the injuries, and then we'll pause on some and ask you your opinion on some of the more impactful ones, and just kind of see how it's going to change things for people. And so right off the bat, man, Kyler Murray, questionable with an ankle. He hasn't really been practicing much this week, if at all. Man, is there anybody on this Arizona offense that you trust if Kyler does not play?
It's frankly tough to trust which receiver is going to get the targets when he does play, right? They've got 5 legitimate pass catchers that are getting healthy shares of snaps and targets. Boy, I would find it very tough to trust any pass catchers that if Kyler doesn't play. I mean, you'd look at some of the guys that would catch the ball near the line of scrimmage, right? You'd look at Chase Edmonds, you'd look at Rondale Moore probably, and Hopkins will get a couple of sideline routes, but there's just might not be much else there.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at Colt McCoy. Yeah, we've been down this road before, guys. Not so good. So yeah, good luck. I mean, he's a pro quarterback. He's a pro backup quarterback. So it won't be miserable. It's just not going to be as high of a ceiling as you can get with Kyler. And honestly, I think the floor is lowered as well.
I mean, is there a ceiling? I feel like we're playing in a roofless dome.
That would mean there is no ceiling. It means it's infinity.
Correct. You're picking up what I'm putting down. I'm glad.
What, McCoy or Murray? You're kidding.
What?
I don't know. Which quarterback are you
Why
talking
would you
about,
even
Murray?
ask that question?
I don't know.
You can
'Cause
point
you're
out
weird.
the
'Cause you're
obvious
weird.
about a roofless dome, yet you can't point out the obvious between Murray and McCoy?
I thought you were trying to be stupid funny and say that McCoy didn't have a ceiling. Because
He doesn't.
do weird.
He doesn't. He doesn't have a ceiling because he's our generation's Chris Sims. Guess what?
Lord.
I think they probably played together at some point. That's how this generation works. Thanks,
Anyway.
COVID.
Anyway.
Calvin, save me a seat. Come
All
on.
right, we're moving on here. Sam Darnold is still dealing with concussion issues. Hasn't
Who
practiced yet
cares?
this week.
Sucks. Move on.
Yeah, he does stink. So, but I mean, look, PJ Walker has not
you,
been good, man. He's
Darnold.
been even worse. So,
Dick.
this offense is not good, man. I'd be looking for other options off. Even DJ Moore, I'm not thrilled to start this week, no matter what. Good news, Tyrod Taylor it's going to be back this week. David Culley has said he is going to start Sunday, so we have Tyrod back. Not that you're really starting Tyrod, but I think this enhances the offense just that much more. David Mills was really bad outside of one game. Tua limited practice today with a rib and finger injury. I mean,
that's gotta hurt. I mean, how do you even catch your finger in your rib? Don't you have skin blocking this? I mean, damn, dude, what the fuck are you doing, Tua?
Keep drinking, AJ.
I will.
Matt Stafford questionable with a sore back. Sat out Wednesday's practice. I think I haven't heard anything that like he's gonna miss. It's probably just a maintenance day for him, in my opinion. And then Big Ben questionable with a pectoral and a hip injury. He'll probably play because it's Big Ben, and this is what he does.
Groundhog Day. We've been talking about this for 8 weeks now.
8 years. Chase Edmonds, running backs here. So Chase Edmonds has a shoulder injury, questionable, but probably going to play. CMC questionable with a hamstring, very limited practice. Ryan, I want to ask you your opinion on this. I'm like, what do you do with CMC if you have him sitting on your bench or in your IR? Do you
He's not in your IR anymore because he's questionable. You've had to move him from your IR because you had an illegal roster going into waivers.
But good call on that one. Did he actually get changed? No. So he hasn't been activated off the IR yet. So he is still technically IR designation.
Which league?
I'm looking at ESPN right now. So anyway,
why?
I don't know.
We're better than that.
Shut up. Ryan, my question to you is, like, what do you do with McCaffrey? I mean, for weeks now, we've been hearing from the coach.
I apologize.
Hey, for weeks now, we've been hearing like, oh, well, we're hopeful he comes back this week or next week, and now it's just the one more week back, and then one more week back, and then one more. At what point do the Panthers go, yeah, we're not even good at football this year, so we're just gonna put him down, or maybe sit him down for those 3 or maybe he does get a chance to play this year. Like, what do you think is actually going to happen?
Well, we've seen a couple of times now the willingness of the Panthers once McCaffrey is back to try to give him a full workload. We've also seen McCaffrey's ability to easily aggravate those injuries when he gets that full load. The Panthers are 4-4. I mean, they're a terrible 4-4, but they're still 4-4. So I'm sure their coaches and their front office are thinking, listen, we get McCaffrey back, we can get this offense back on track. Now, those of us reasonable, rational people don't necessarily believe that, but we can. But the Panthers are going to try to get back in this thing and make with 7 teams making the playoffs, they're going to try to do it. So I think once they activate him, they're going to try to give him a full workload. That's good for fantasy managers, but we're on thin ice now with McCaffrey being the one of the most injury prone players in the NFL.
Yeah, AJ, I'm afraid to ask you another question because you're going off on you're
on good
falling
things.
You're falling off the rails here.
I'm not
but
falling off of anything. I've been sitting on this chair the entire show.
If he comes back and performs well the rest of the season, where would you legit draft him next season? Would it be number 1 overall like he would this year, even after a full year off, basically, because of injury? Or would you bump him back because of the injury risk at this point?
I will say that the Carolina Panthers are the only 4-4 team in the NFC. Mind you, the shitbag Eagles are 1 game off of that 4-4. And they have a much better quarterback. But yet, I'm not even drafting CMC anymore. I'm very tempted to trade him for fellow injured running back Dobbins in a keeper league because
interesting. Okay,
Dobbins,
so that wasn't my.
It was sort of your question.
So. Okay, where would
I answered your question?
Let's do it this. Actually, let's do it this way. What if you had to rank him?
If I had to rank him,
if he comes back, rank him, right?
Can I talk?
Yes.
Are you done?
I don't know. You don't let me talk. This is a fun show, Ryan.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna rank him probably 10 to 15.
Whew. Feels low. If he finishes well,
It does.
Strong,
If he comes
I'm
back,
probably mid first round.
finishes well, I would think. I mean, 10 to 15 is late first round, into second. It's just going to be, you're going to have the believers, and you're going to have the naysayers that are sitting there like, well, that's 2 seasons now. He's been injury prone. So
yeah,
you just got to figure out which one of those in your league is going to be drafting towards the end of the first round.
Yeah.
he probably won't make it that far
Because they will also be drafting at the beginning of the second round. So they may have to fight it out themselves.
I had no idea that's how that worked.
That's
Thank
not,
you.
yeah.
All right, so moving on
It's
here
called
to
a
some more
snake
injuries.
draft.
CMC or Danny Pinter, who just scored a touchdown for the Colts.
Yeah, no kidding. Thanks, Colts, for nothing.
Wait, who? Danny
yeah,
what?
Some lineman.
Danny Trejo? He just scored a touchdown? I didn't even know he was in football.
So we got Latavius Murray questionable with an ankle.
I
don't really know the update on him right now, honestly. David Montgomery's still in the IR. He's designated to return, but that doesn't mean he's coming back this week. But just something to keep an eye out for. James Robinson, questionable with a heel. He has not practiced 2 days in a row, even though the coaching staff has said good things about his chances of playing this week. We really have to keep an eye on the practice status here.
Staff, mind you.
Yeah, I don't want to say his name. That's why I just said coaching staff.
Several trustworthy guys. We can take everything they say.
Yeah. Buckeye.
Saquon Barkley is out COVID-19. He's out for now. He did have a negative test today, although he's still dealing with the ankle injury. I mean, I guess if he gets a second negative test, he can come back, but I mean, he's dealing with the ankle. I have no idea what's going on with Barkley. I don't think anybody does. I don't think the Giants do.
Booker SZN. Bye-bye, Barkley.
And then Elijah Mitchell, questionable with a rib injury. He did practice today, limited. I guess he had his snaps limited even in practice. So but it looks like he's on track to play this week.
Did Tua poke him in the ribs as well? And then just be able to get his finger out? Were they playing Russian roulette with Tua's finger and Tua lost? Anybody? Bueller? All right, wide receivers.
Sure
Hopkins,
funny,
we already mentioned, questionable with a hamstring. Calvin Ridley, we already talked about, out indefinitely right now, time unknown, and whatever. It's fine. You do you, Calvin. Get better. We wish you the best. AJ Green, COVID. A lot of tummy sticks going on here with some people. We got Sammy Watkins is questionable with a hamstring. Cole Beasley questionable with ribs. Again, they played Miami last week, so maybe there is a Tua connection there. Donovan Peoples-Jones, sounds like a law firm if I've ever heard one, is questionable with a groin. We've got Abja questionable, excused from second day of practice because he's got a watch injury. Jarvis Landry questionable with a knee. He did not practice. He will probably play because Abja is being dismissed from the team faster than a kid who farted out loud in class in detention. That's right, in class and in detention. CD's Nuts Lamb, questionable ankle sprained Wednesday at practice.
Not good.
Hanging with Amari Cooper, questionable with a hamstring. Devontae Adams is the big O face right now, as of now. He was at practice, but yeah, LaFleur's hopeful, quote unquote, air quotes, if you will, that he will play Sunday. He ain't going to be worth a damn with Jordan loves to hand the ball off. Michael Gallup is on the IR with calf, practicing in limited fashion. doesn't mean shit. MVS IR designated to return on Monday. T.Y. Hilton, O-face concussion. Devontae Parker, questionable shoulder hamstring. Robert Woods, questionable DNP Wednesday foot. Michael Thomas out for year, different ankle injury. How the F do you do that? I don't know. I don't care. I don't want to talk to his doctors. He's already been cut from my teams. Sterling Shepard is the big D because of quads. Kadarius Toney, the big Q because of a thumb. Kenny G, the big Q because of a knee sprain thanks to an alto sax. Suck it, Keith. The Giants still suck. Corey Davis,
That's a run.
also an O-face with the hip. He's not playing tonight. Jalen Rager, questionable with an ankle injury. Debo Samuel, questionable with a calf. DNP Wednesday. Julio down by the schoolyard, tending to his hamstring. He is questionable. Dawson Knox going to do it. Is questionable with a hand. Blake Jarwin is questionable with a hip. Noah Fant is O-face with the COVID face. Still has a chance to play if he gets 2 straight negatives. Depends on if he was tongue-kissing Devontae or Aaron. Jonnu Smith, questionable with limited practice on Wednesday. Shoulder injury. Eric, I'm still alive. Ebron is questionable with a hamstring. And defense, we have Tyron Smith is the big D with an ankle.
And
let's go to DFS plays.
Before we get to that, by the way, Jonathan Taylor just busted out a
I don't want to hear it
yard
because
touchdown.
I do not own him and I'm playing against him. So
well, you probably are down
Keith.
huge.
Thanks for your suck at AJ. Okay,
Taylor is decidedly.
I see you,
Keith.
All right, let's finish off the show, Ryan, with some DFS smash plays and stacks, fades, and values. And
Jonathan Taylor, smash play.
Yeah, if we had, if we could include the Thursday night games, yeah, we
Fine,
would, but we don't. All right, so Ryan, I'm gonna let you start off here with give us one of your stacks that you like for this week.
Okay. There's a couple of things that I'm looking at this week. First of all, you noticed all the Cowboys that AJ mentioned that are either I don't even know if you mentioned Blake Jarwin, but Blake Jarwin out, Cooper limited, CeeDee Lamb ankle injury. This could be the Dak, Dalton Schultz, Zeke show against a suddenly depleted Broncos defense coming into the main slate on Sunday. So that's sort of a sneaky one, not necessarily something you may not want to bring back on the other side with another player, but it's something where if we see that Cooper and Lamb are either limited or out, we can start to narrow that that pool of Cowboys players in a game where they're favorites and certainly are going to be projected to score a lot of points.
Yeah, you gotta wonder though, like if they don't have those receivers, I mean, maybe Wilson becomes a guy that you want to pay up for. Like he's only 3,600, he could be a super steal there. I would, maybe Gallup gets activated this week. And if he did, that would be a smash play in my opinion. But yeah, that's something you got to watch out for here with this Dallas team. Is just if those receivers are gonna play. I tend to believe that Cooper's probably going to play. He was limited.
Yeah.
It seems to be the way. It's that ankle sprain from Lamb midweek is what's scary. So you just don't know there. So I agree with you there. Is there another one you got or?
Yeah, so I think the most popular one of the week might be the Ravens-Vikings game, right? So this has just sort of got fantasy goodness all over it.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar to Marquise, the Vikings secondary is that
And
Vikings
it's kind of a
secondary-
cheap stack too, man. 7,300 and
Yeah.
6,000. Like, why is Marquise Brown still down at 6,000? The dude's been balling out this year, man. I just don't
He
get
is
it.
he is balling out up near the top of the leaderboards in air yards, ADOT, receptions. I mean, he's
Fantasy
just
points.
yeah,
Like,
he's gone to another level this year. So you stack those two guys and bring it back with somebody like a Justin Jefferson. That could be a smash spot in that game.
mhm. I like that one a lot. So obviously,
Yeah.
I think the dummy, like, no kidding stack is Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. We've got Emmanuel Sanders, who seems to kind of be fading away. Didn't catch a ball last week. Didn't get targeted last week. He got targeted 4 times. And then we got Beasley, who's banged up. But it's gonna be and obviously with Dawson Knox out, they're gonna be looking back to Diggs, and they did last week, and it worked out. So I think this one, even though it's very high priced, I think that's an easy like cash stack you can go to.
Yep.
Another one which is sort of sneaky, and it's a weird stack to say because it's quarterback running back, is Hill and Kamara.
Yep.
So Taysom's only 5,500, and Kamara's 82, which he should be. They may not play off of each other a lot. Like, Taysom Hill will target Kamara because he's gonna have to. But they could both hit value very easily, especially with Hill at 5,500. I think even if you don't play Kamara, Hill's almost like an automatic play. Like, if you don't want to use stacks, like Hill's just like, yeah, I'm using Taysom Hill because he's 5,500, and you're going to watch next week he's going to be 7,000 because that's what's going to have to happen. I'm shocked that they went in this week and didn't put Hill at higher. Maybe it's because he's questionable still that they didn't put him higher. But if he plays and he puts up points like he did last year, I think they're gonna skyrocket his value, and they should.
Yeah, I have Hill and Kamara pretty far up my list because you're going to, unless they just vulture something with Ingram, you're going to have access to every Saints touchdown and
exactly because
they
have.
And
oh my gosh, Elijah Moore just caught another touchdown. Wow, it's Elijah Moore time, baby. So outside of stacks, like anything that you're looking at here, not values, but like these are like kind of the higher priced players that you're just going like, I need to find a way to get them in more of my lineups rather than not. Who you got here? These are the smash plays.
Yeah, I think that we can certainly go to Chargers this week. We can, depending on the health of Mike Williams, he's certainly disappointed the past few weeks, but we can go back to Eckler. I think this is a get right spot for Justin Herbert. He has struggled. I saw some metrics. So he's been a bottom 5 quarterback by various metrics in the past couple of weeks, but this is certainly a chance where against the Eagles and a defense that has trouble in all aspects of the all over the field, that they can get right with. So a Herbert, Allen, Eckler stack, I don't mind. You can get a little weird with Jared Cook. And then, for those that sort of were disappointed by Kenny Gainwell last week, sort of saw what the Eagles want to do with running Boston Scott and Jordan Howard when they're ahead. But I don't see that scenario happening this week. So don't be afraid to go back to Kenny Gainwell, especially in a point per reception format.
Yeah, I also think you can go back to using Jalen Hurts a little bit. Even though that Chargers defense is good, Hurts gets done with his legs. Like when he didn't need to do anything last week.
He goes through 3 quarters with negative fantasy points, and then come the end of the game, he's at 26 points.
Fine with me. I've got him in one team that I'm doing pretty well.
All right, that's why we play 60 minutes, right?
Yeah, I'm with you on
60 minutes
Eckler.
of fantasy too.
Yeah, right. I'm with you on Eckler. I like him as a smash.
I definitely like Eckler against my Eagles. I think that's a near no-brainer. Debo versus Arizona. I mean, 7,800. Okay, fine. The guy just gets target after target after target. He catches everything. He keeps producing. You got to keep buying on him. And the last smash we got here is Brandon Cooks. We talked about him last week as well. 6,100. Like, I get it. You still play in Houston, but there may be a little bit of confusion if Tyrod's coming back as far as whether or not he's going to get the targets. The running game is garbage.
In Miami is 30th against receivers.
Yeah,
on
exactly.
DK. So like this is a 6,100 is like no brainer in my opinion. Like you got to figure out a way to get that in because it's not expensive. It's not cheap. It's kind of right in the middle. It's like perfect. It's like
it's when you're looking through if you've dropped a ton of money on your quarterback and at least one running back and a top receiver. You're like.
Yeah,
I will not be afraid in the slightest to go to a Tua Waddle Cook stack for that game, and then allow me access to a lot of other high priced guys.
Now, let me tell you this because I'll spoil alert. I have Tua on my value list. What about a Tua Gasecki stack?
I like it.
Gasecki is 4,900, and it's the seventh. I think I figured out it's the seventh most expensive tight end. So on the more expensive side, but like below him, like I don't. Maybe Goddard is a guy that I would look at.
Is not really
but it's not expensive. But like, I mean, after that, you're looking at like nobody. The only guy below him that I like is Goddard.
Tight ends, kind of suck.
I mean, out of nowhere, Gasecki is top 5 in tight ends, receptions, target, carry yards, everything.
Yeah, I get it. Last week he struggled. It was the Bills, guys. The Bills have the number 1 defense in the league, which is now going to get passed by the Rams probably. No, I mean who knows? But I mean after that, it's all touchdown upside, guys. It's Hunter Henry, Uzoma. I want to say Ingram, but he's upside nothing. There's nothing down here. It's terrible because we don't even have Ricky Seals-Jones this week, right? We don't have the Brates or the OJ Howards, or possible Gronks this week. Like there's a lot of missing tight ends this week. Yeah. Well, tight end's gone. So thank you. No kidding. So it's I don't mind like doing a weird stack like that would be maybe more of like a GPP play for me, like a tournament play. I don't think I would do that in cash. I'm going Lamar and Brown and Allen and Diggs. Like I think that's where you got to go, and just you play it a little safer in cash just because all you got to do is beat the top half and you cash in, right? That's what you do. So some of my fades here, I'm gonna start here, and it's honestly like I'm fading Jones and Adams. They're too expensive. With Love at QB, I just can't do it. I'm sure everybody in the world agrees, but I had to say it just because, like, just in case you're listening and you had that, like, oh, well, maybe I'll be different. No, stop it. Just stop it. It's not going to happen. You can't do it. Ryan, you got any fades that you want to mention?
Well, besides basically the whole Browns team, I'm fading that spot. That spot here, I've been thinking, especially since as you brought it up, this Cardinals 49ers game. There's so many question marks there. Yeah, Debo keeps getting there. I just don't know how he keeps getting there with Jimmy still doing things. I don't really find anything that appeals to me in that game, particularly if Kyler is out. If Kyler is out, that's probably going to be a cross-off game for me. So I'm marking that one off the list potentially.
Well, I would still play Elijah Mitchell. I think it could be a run-heavy game.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. Well, although we do know, based on what we've seen the past couple of weeks, Mitchell's going to get first and second down. They want to put Hasty in on the third down. So, I'm not sure exactly what they're doing in the red zone, but Mitchell will get some work. And then I can't find anything I like really in Patriots versus Panthers. Harris has been good the past couple of weeks, but Panthers are a slight step up in rush defense. So I'm not finding much I like in that matchup.
Yeah, I agree with you there. So I got a couple more here, and I'm fading D-Hop. 7,000, he's banged up. You mentioned it before. Like you don't really like this Arizona offense. Even if Kyler is healthy, they spread the targets around a little too much. Like he's almost too touchdown dependent, in my opinion, to be 7,000. It's
a high number.
He doesn't see the targets enough. He'll see 9 and 7 here and there, but we've got a couple 4 games. Last week was 2. Like it's not great. Yeah. And I just don't know if it's. I don't see it getting any better with him. 7,000 still seems like its name value dollar price here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Speaking of name value, Patty Mahomes, man. He's up there at 7,800. He's just not the Mahomes that we've seen. He's got too many turnovers. He's struggled 2 weeks straight now. I feel like he's struggled a lot of the season, but
yeah, but he's still been able to put up those fantasy points, but like it hasn't been good the last 2 weeks for sure.
Again, I mean, dude, if you're struggling against the Giants as your second straight week, I mean, that's borderline cut territory for me. But I mean, I would at least try to trade first and then just end up like one of those teams that trying to trade somebody, even though everybody else in the league knows that you're going to cut them. So that's what the Giants bring.
Maybe
I mean, that is the one thing that the Giants can bring.
Might get a
aside
little back
from
from Mahomes.
Illness and famine. James Robinson's another one for me. I mean, 6,400 is not terrible, but you're going against Buffalo, dude. I mean, no, they're the third least points against running backs. No thanks.
Yeah, the Bills have been shutting everybody down.
Yeah.
All right, finish things off here, Ryan, with some value plays. Who's your one or two favorite value plays here?
Well, I mentioned one earlier. I do like, just for the potential volume, I do like getting up to Kenny Gainwell. I think that he will be low rostered based on his lack of usage last week, and I think that's somewhere they're going to have his pass catching ability in that game. And then I like the just because, you know, being in Houston and watching this Texans team every week, I like the matchup for the Dolphins. So I'm in on Gaskin, I'm in on Waddle, I'm in on Gesicki, all those guys. I don't think you're gonna have too much exposure to a team that's already waved the white flag this year. It's going to be an ugly game. There's not a high total there, but I don't mind going any of those Miami offensive players.
Yeah, I don't mind Gaskin. He's sort of that mid-range value as far as receivers. I mean, he's ahead of Elijah Mitchell. He's ahead of even Darrell Williams. So it's, you're gonna pay a little up for him, but I don't mind that one at all. I put Boston Scott on this list. I'm kind of in on that one too. Like, I don't really know where in the world Jordan Howard based it out of last week, like 12 carry. Like, stop it, guys. The Eagles need to, like, AJ, why do the Eagles love Jordan Howard? I don't get it. They just got to stop. But Boston Scott is, in my mind,
I don't know,
the guy who should be getting the at least like the first and second down work as far as carries, and then Gainwell comes in and does the does the third down work and the passing down work. And against the Chargers, they should have to pass a lot more. So yeah, we're going to see a little more Gainwell, but I still like Boston Scott at 5,200. I do like Rondell Moore a little bit. Obviously only if Hop and AJ Green are out. And I think AJ Green's already out. Hop needs to be out, but we also need to have Kyler. So there's a lot of ifs with that. But if we get all of those, Rondell Moore is like, 100% in my lineup. And Kirk isn't even that much higher. He's like 51 or 52, I think. So he's somebody else you could look at as well. I'm looking at 53. And then another one I like is Russell Gage. I mean, he's going to be the number one receiver, you would think, for the Falcons. And, he's talented. He's not Ridley. He's not Julio. None of that. But, Russell Gage is going to get targets. And at 4,900, sure. I mean, New Orleans, I don't think they're going to shadow Lattimore on Russell Gage. Why would they? Right. They don't need to. So Lattimore could just go wherever he wants to, and then Gage can get open time and time again. And we've seen Gage perform. So I think 4,900 is really good there.
Yeah. I'll throw one more your way before we finish up value, and that's sort of out of left field, but Rashad Bateman at 4,000. If we're that high on the Ravens offense this week, we saw Bateman in his first game get 6 targets. He's been heavily involved, hadn't Hadn't quite gotten the yards and the touchdowns yet, but they're targeting him. This is a spot where if they decide to take the top away with Marquise Brown, they could really get Bateman involved. So for 4,000 and
4,000, I do
I
like it.
don't mind that at all.
I do like that actually. That's even a good cash play, honestly. I think.
Yeah.
Especially at 4,000, like where you're gonna need to save some value here. Like, and I think the next guy AJ is gonna mention here. I think we can pair him right in with that guy too.
It's right there, and we already touched on him earlier. Brian Edwards, 4,100, and he's going against the Giants. So
the guys who we like to pick on the most.
You know that he's going to have like 87 fantasy points. It's a no-brainer.
One less than the Raiders are actually going to score.
Maybe he'll have as many fantasy points as miles of speed that his dumbass counterpart was traveling.
Oh my god!
Why? Because the Giants.
Get off it, AJ. We know your stance. Sorry, I agree, but it's time to move on. But yeah,
Edwards is good. Gage. The only thing that worries me about Gage is he had nothing last week, and
I agree.
That could scare people away.
But that's why you jump on it.
That's the kind of look that you're going for. And Lattimore, honestly, I think Lattimore is going to be shadowing Pitts the entire game. That would be my thought. But
I don't know.
I don't know. Who's he going to shadow? Mike Davis? No. Is he just going to sit out and fucking fling a lawn chair down and just sit because they're like, it doesn't matter. I can sit here and still get 6 interceptions.
They're gonna like cover him with 4 people. Like, beat us with the other guys. Good luck.
Exactly.
Anyway, I agree. And I mentioned Tua already because you mentioned we mentioned the Waddle and then obviously Tua. But look. Here's the thing about Tua. Everybody's gonna go off of him and say he's a crappy quarterback. But in fantasy, before last week when he played the Bills, who everybody struggles against, he had 25 and 28 fantasy points on DK. Like at 5,800, that's he crushed value and then some.
Yeah.
Like he's playing Houston. Like that's a good play, guys, especially in GPPs. Go for it. Take that chance. If you're gonna play multiple lineups, I guarantee you're gonna see Tua and Gesicki and Tua and Waddle in multiple GPPs. And I would love to talk to people who like really play in those and see if I'm right, because I would almost guarantee I am. It just feels stupid not to try that once or twice, right? So, all right, man. Ryan, I want to thank you for coming on to the show. It was a good one, despite AJ's craziness.
What?
Before we let you go, just want to let everybody know where they can find you on Twitter and what you got going on right now as far as writing.
Yeah, so I'm at Kirksey Sports on Twitter. Every Tuesday morning, usually I have a dynasty piece that comes out on Fantasy Six Pack, just looking at risers and fallers in that category based on the past week's games, and then several other places. Just you can hit up my Twitter accounts, the other sites that I'm at. But check out that dynasty article every Tuesday.
Absolutely, man. Thanks again for coming on, and have a good night, man.
All right, thank you guys.
All right, thanks, Ryan.
All right, AJ. So we are looking at like I kind of expected, a total blowout here. 42-16 Colts.
That hurts.
Yeah. I sadly, but not sadly, didn't start Elijah Moore in my Dynasty League that I'm trying to, or not trying to lose. I want to lose. I'm actually starting lineups because I have, more respect than that for the league. I know people that don't do that in Dynasty Leagues. Start your best lineup, guys. Let it figure it out. But I didn't start Elijah Moore because he hasn't done crap this year. So I figured that's not my best receiver.
Him and Josh Johnson have clearly worked well together.
Yeah, no kidding. Who knew? I could have expected Mike White to get hurt. Nah, not really. Anyway, man.
I did not. That's why I started both him and Carson tonight.
Ouch.
Thank you, Carson, for getting 34.12 points. In
I do
Scott
have
Fish.
Carson Wentz in that same league, so maybe it bounces out, right?
Ooh,
all right.
yeah.
Anyway, I think that's all I got, and we will see you all next week. Good luck in week 9, everybody.